We are live. What's up, Mason?
What up, Paulie?
Good to see you again. Finally.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I have so many amazing topics to talk to you about. But most importantly, the first one, we should probably just get it done. Are you still standing up and peeing?
Dude, were you there when we had that conversation?
Yes, that's why. I mean, I've been thinking about it the past couple of days since I invited you on, and I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? The other day I was listening to Savan's podcast, one of the CrossFit
Right.
dudes,
Yeah.
and he was like, yeah, I always stand up and pee and try to spend as little time on the toilet. So, and then it made me think about us having that conversation. Um, and I'm like, well, what's the problem with sitting down and taking a piss? And then he's like, well, it leads to digestive problems, low T. And I'm like, what the fuck?
This is what Savan was saying?
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I looked it up, and sure enough, like, you sit on the toilet too long because of that
Yeah.
fucking cell phone, you get it. And I remember you were a big proponent of
Yeah.
must stand up to urinate.
Yeah. Like a man.
Like a
Yeah.
man.
I
So
think what happens is you just sit there and your body thinks you're a woman. So you probably just end up turning into one.
Oh, yes. I knew that. I knew it was going to strike a good chord with you to open with that
I
question.
totally forgot about that. That's funny.
And I'm standing up. I'm trying to stand up and pee more because
That's good.
it's
Good.
I get worried about the low T being 40.
Your knees are probably like, because you're so tall too.
It's probably why I have, early onset osteoporosis.
That's it,
From
dude.
the long shitting or whatever I'm doing in my office,
Yeah.
quote unquote. It's funny about the low T thing. I mean, it seems to be like everywhere, And
Or are they just testing it more? Like
that's what I'm saying. I feel like, well, or it's the new excuse, right? Like when your diet
right.
sucks, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna take this hydroxy cut, and it's gonna make me fucking lean. And now it's like, oh, I want to get in shape like you name the fucking dude.
Yeah,
And
I got low T.
Yeah, I got low T, man. Pump me up.
Yeah.
Do you like? I'm sure you've been asked before, like, hey, well, let's get this out of the way. What's your heaviest deadlift?
I did 765 sumo and then 735 conventional.
All right. So just for everyone listening, that's a lot. That's really heavy. That's pounds. Okay. Mason lifted almost an elephant off the ground. And the farthest distance you've ran?
32 miles.
32 miles, 760 something pound deadlift. Heaviest back squat?
617.
So that's a lot of fucking weight.
And the deadlift I did I did a 700-pound deadlift after I ran a marathon the same day.
That's insanity. The reason I bring it up, because I'm sure a lot of people will look at you and be like, "Oh man, that guy's probably on some shit." I'm sure you've been told before. I know I have.
Right.
I'm nowhere near as strong as you are, but I've gotten the, oh yeah, well, how'd you get there? Must be steroids. And I'm like, no, I just, sometimes it's genetics.
I mean, I think I'm not gonna sit here and be like, say that a lot of it isn't, right? You're born with, you're predisposed to be good or bad at whatever, but I think that a lot of people just discount the 20 or so years of consistent lifting that we've been doing. Like I remember Lenny, Lenny, right? He's like, so when's the last time? Yeah, right. He's like, when's the last time you've taken like 2 weeks off? And I'm like, Lenny, I can't think of more than a week that I've taken off since I was in my teens, like ever. It's just like it's not something you do because it's like brushing your teeth, right? It's just part of your life. And
you feel super fucking weird if you don't do it.
Yeah. And so, for people to be like, oh, well, it's just because of steroids or just because of that, it's like you almost can't even relate with people that don't constantly train. Because they'll talk about getting to a certain goal or whatever it is, or oh yeah, you're so strong, or oh yeah, you do this and that, and you're like, you got to put it in perspective.
Right.
That's like me looking at somebody that has been like working on their financial portfolio like dogmatically for 20 years and being like,
Sure.
God, you just made $100,000 last month. That's crazy. And they'd be like, yeah, well, that's not that hard to do if you've already built
All this.
all of this up and you know how to do it. So,
Or the other side goes, you must be cheating.
yeah, right.
Someone else like, oh, you must have got that money somehow.
Yeah, you must have stole it,
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because the other side of it, right? The dudes that are on the shit, because I feel like the natty or not videos have become like explosive. Like everybody's, it's a natty or not YouTube thing, which I got it. There's a market for that. But the dudes that get butthurt that obviously aren't natty. I mean,
right.
I don't know if they're not, but I'm gonna guess with some strong, knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't just go, do you know how hard it is? Even if I, let's say I did say I was doing steroids, you know how hard it is to keep this year round? It's near impossible.
Right.
So they like take it as like someone shitting on them that they're saying they're doing steroids. I'm like, dude, I'm not saying you're technically cheating, especially if you're in the bodybuilding field. Like Chris Bumstead, who's jacked out of his mind. He's like, yeah, I'm on a protocol and I have to be.
Well, if you're trying to push a brand, like Liver King just got busted or whatever, right? With that stuff. I guess I could see that. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not crazy to think that somebody would lie to make money.
Oh, no, not at all.
And so the whole natty or not thing, like, why not just lie about it if you're getting a monetary value, right?
Yeah. Then own it when you have to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, yeah, you caught me.
I'm still a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. As far as like the moral conundrum they're in with taking steroids and telling people they're taking steroids, I don't think that they really give a shit about lying about it. Yeah, exactly. When they're trying to make a buck off it, it's like whatever. And
that shit would. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I mean, some people see it like it's so taboo as well. But I think the sad part about a lot of that is you can achieve so much without it, and I think you would still be able to push that message,
right?
And I look at it like, I mean, fortunately, I'm only 35, right? So I haven't seen this. Yeah, but I haven't seen like a drastic reduction of capability, right?
Right.
Yeah, I get more sore and stuff like that. And I'm also narrowing what I do and getting away from stuff that bothers this or that, right? But I think people can achieve a lot and still get their message across without having to do that. And these people that are doing the steroids or whatever it is, they're still putting in a lot of work,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, look at Liver King, right? So let's say that everything was true, and he did spend $11,000 a month on this protocol, right?
Crazy.
I bet you that guy could look fucking phenomenal without taking any of those PEDs, right? And then he still, because they explained how he launched his media platform, right? The guy was a rich guy that worked out and really did kind of live off of a lot of these things that he says. I mean, what is he saying? Like, go outside in the morning and get some sun, like walk barefoot through the grass. Like, a lot of what he's saying isn't bad stuff, right?
Right.
And he would have still looked great. And then he could have launched the Liver King brand, not looked like this like fucking walking testicle, right?
Dude.
And I think it would have done very well. And then he wouldn't have had all these haters.
And it's funny because me and you, like, I remember when I saw you a few months ago for
retirement. Yeah,
and you were big on the. I don't know. Are you still doing carnivore?
So kind of when I got out to Pensacola in January, right after holidays and after all that stuff, and Josh Bridges was telling me that he had started on that more nose to tail type of diet, and he said he's feeling great and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot, right? And so what I really did was I basically cut out all bread during the week. On the weekends, I'm still human, and me and my wife will get some pasta or whatever, right? And then, so my diet basically consists of eggs and fruit smoothies in the morning, and then meat and fruit smoothies in the at lunch, and then meat, potatoes, maybe rice once a week or twice a week, and a little bit of vegetables at night. And then I would have like honey and fruit for snacks throughout the day, right? But still, right. I didn't do the raw dairy because it didn't like, oh well. I joke about it because I'm like, so you can eat every part of a cow and cook it except for the milk.
Except for the milk.
You can't cook the milk.
No, don't.
But you can cook everything else. So yeah. I still eat, but dairy doesn't mess with my stomach either. And
sure.
And then I started taking a liver and a blood and I think one of the testicle supplements, right?
Yeah.
So short answer is I'm still on the diet 80% or to 90% of the time. Okay. Gotcha. I barely eat any pasta or bread during the week. But I stopped doing the pills probably like 3 months ago.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't seen any difference.
Big difference.
Really? No, I mean,
I think the diet part is probably the most
I think so too.
Important. Now, the dudes that are sucking down liver, like cutting whatever and eating like Liver King status, maybe there is something to be said there. But if you take all that out of it, if his diet was shit, he wouldn't look like that. Like, and you look at the emails that were there, he's like, my back fat, bro. You're complaining about back fat? So you're nitpicking on the hardest things to get rid of.
Right. And if you didn't work out like an animal, he wouldn't look like that.
No way. And just a wild thing to come out. That More Plates, More Dates dude, that Derek guy.
He's going to get a Netflix, dude.
Dude, for real. Just crushing it. I'm sure he's going to go back on Rogan.
Right. You know what time he took with that?
Oh,
he said, let me just bang out this hour. And then he has another whole separate hour that is just the blood work.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
That's out?
I haven't either. I don't know if I care to see it. Yeah. I mean, it's way above my understanding of that anyway. But, yeah, he has – because when he gets to the blood work, he's like, disclaimer, and then fast forward through. He's like, disclaimer, this took an hour. So I'll just sum it up for you. But if you want to watch the whole blood work analysis, because there's several emails of it, then I'm going to put that out too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's badass. Yeah, and it's so funny with we're talking about like the Natty or Not stuff. That HillerFit dude does the ones on the CrossFitters and shit.
Now, yes, yeah.
The reason I'm bringing up CrossFit, Mason used to compete in CrossFit. He made it to the California Regional. Mason's also a Navy man, so big salute to Mr. Mason. Could you show them your hat that Tom Cruise gave you?
Yep.
That's what you told me. Fly Navy, if you guys don't see it. Best movie of the year, Maverick. I'm doing, easy promotion. That movie was fantastic.
Yeah. I'm not getting paid to say that, though.
Not at all. I wish. That'd be sick.
Well, the Blue Angels are right here. They fly like every day, so they kind of give me a wing rock when they see the hat.
I bet.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Yeah. My neighbor's a Blue Angel.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
So Mason, and you finished that rope deadlift workout. Did you finish first? Did you win that workout?
That was a rope thruster workout.
Oh, rope thruster. No. But that was the no shitters.
Yeah, I was also in. No, I didn't. There's a couple guys that finished faster, but I was in Heat 2 last event.
But you were up there. I remember.
Yeah, I got top 5 or something in that.
And that the Hiller guy's done a few videos on fucking some of the big ballers, like Tia, the Cyborg, and a few others. But
dude, I trained with that girl before the 17 games or 16. That she's pretty incredible.
And it's funny because I try to explain that to people that watch, just or they kind of not really rag on CrossFit, but they just don't kind of get it. And
I think a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, how
Yeah.
about this? You do that workout fresh. I want you to warm up, however
Right.
you want to warm up. Just go do it.
Right.
And if you can beat their time, I'll shut up. Or if you can
Yeah.
get even in the
Yeah.
ballpark of their
If you
time
can finish it, if you can do all the movements.
and use their weight, you can use
Yeah.
the woman's weight if you're a man. I don't
Oh
really give
yeah.
a shit. Do it.
Yeah.
And come from someone that is dipping their toe back into that world again. It's easy to get like caught up with these other people and they're like, oh, what if they're all on steroids, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, they're not. I mean, they're just really fucking in shape and they spend their life working out.
Yeah. You know what's weird, man? Like, it's almost like the more detached I get from the sport, like the more cynical I've become about what I think, how many people I think are actually doing stuff.
You think
And
more than you used to or less?
yeah, so for anyone that's listening, I have, this is complete speculation. I have no idea how they do their drug testing protocol, and I'm a very cynical person. But I don't feel like it's done very. I think that if USADA, the UFC guys, came in and started to drug test CrossFit, there would be a completely change in body type, just like there was in UFC back in 2015 or whenever it took over. Like,
Whoa.
I almost, it's like, when I was in it, I looked at it like, okay, this is what I can achieve naturally, right? And I was skirting in the realm of making the games, right? So if there was like a amateur level CrossFitter, I was like right about there, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, not
you were
pro.
crushing it, man.
Yeah, I was getting close, right? And so in my mind, I would rationalize like, okay, well, if I can do this like this, there's people that can be just a little bit better at everything else, and they wouldn't have to take any supplements for it, right?
Right.
And they could get there. And I think there are a lot of people like that do compete in CrossFit naturally, and I know some, right?
Yeah.
But
I feel
don't
like
know,
all the top guys and girls are clean is what they look like to me. And I say top guys, like I'm talking the Matt Frasers, the Rich Fronings, the Tia Toomeys of the world that are just there's freaks in sports, man. I mean, and they're just fucking dialed in.
Like at regionals, I remember standing there at regionals, and one of the female athletes that was competing, she was like standing next to me, and I'm like, this chick has a beard right now. Like I'm not kidding. You could physically see like a beard on her, and it's like, genetics, whatever you want to call it. But if it fucking walks like a duck and quacks like a duck,
Yeah.
there's like so many things that are like just these obvious signs that it's like that's more than just a woman working out really hard. Either A, she has very high testosterone levels naturally, right?
Sure.
Which is a possibility. Or B, she's taking something to increase those, and
peptide.
And I think that is probably more likely of the scenario. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just being a hater.
I mean, it goes back to the money thing too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
These people are spending fucking 6 hours a day working out. Some of them, and they no one's paying their bills for them unless you're one of these top tenors,
or even if, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
And especially for women, it seems like if they can become a good athlete that consistently at least makes the games, not necessarily a podium athlete, and they are an attractive girl, then they can build a social media following that is, hundreds of thousands. It's not approaching 1 million, and then there's your monetary gains right there, right? And for somebody to go and do some drugs in order to make a healthy living off of what they love to do, I don't think it's a huge stretch whatsoever.
No.
You watch that movie, what's it called, that the Bells put out years ago, the steroid documentary.
Icarus.
No. Mark Bell and his brother. Bigger, faster, stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about if you could take a pill to make you twice a better computer programmer, would you?
Fuck yeah.
You know, it's like,
Limitless,
fucking
bro.
most people.
Limitless.
Yeah, even if it was illegal or whatever, you're gonna get slapped on the wrist for it. I don't know. And some of the weight that is being lifted by some of
Dude,
those women.
amazing.
Oh my God! Like, I'm a pretty strong guy, right? And I'm looking at it like that. I got to work to do that. And now there's like 150-pound girl doing it. It's like
amazing.
that's.
I mean,
it's almost unbelievable.
Right. I mean, and that's not. We're not. You know, this isn't like a shit fest on the female sex, but
no.
If you just look at some of the sheer numbers of some things, you're like, holy crap. Now, some of them, like I said, they've been lifting their whole life, and they're really good at doing that.
Yeah.
But you usually don't see the whole picture built.
No.
You know, like they're not a great swimmer,
No.
and they deadlift 700 pounds, and they can run and do all these gymnastics and all this shit. Very rarely you see. That's why you have a Tia, you know, who looks pretty damn natural to me, and she doesn't look like some freak beast out there, you know.
I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, like from any interaction, the minimal interaction I had with her, like she seems like a great person, right? And she fucking kills it in the gym, working hard, and they all do. All those competitors do. But
that goes back to the steroid thing. It's like, you could do all those steroids, but can you still do the workouts?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the road, either it's going to be it's going to become like strongman, where no one really cares, and it's just like, we test, but we're looking for the baddest, right? Or it's going to be like Major League Baseball, and there's going to be a whistleblower, like what's his name, Canseco was back in the 90s,
right.
and there's going to be the one doctor that gave it to everybody, and something's going to become exposed. But I don't know if there's much that like enough money in it for that now.
I was going to say,
I think it's trending in the realm of World's Strongest Man, where you have a niche population that does it and that watches it and that even strives to become it, and that's it. It's like after the regionals and after the Open kind of died back in 18 or 19, and it stopped becoming this, like, it stopped growing, I feel like, and now it's just like, all right, who wants to go and try to become the fittest? And it's not a league, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas before it was starting to kind of resemble that.
Yeah, and it's super weird to me that every year now it's been like the best dude or best girl, they decide, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore, and another guy or girl steps up and they end up winning 2 or 3 times in a row, and I'm like, how does that even? I mean, I guess that's a testament to your fitness levels.
I think that also gets into like some sports psychology too, right? And when it gets down to, I mean, yes, the winner, like Frazier and Tia and Froning and those dominant athletes are dominant for a reason. But I think part of that is on the last couple of days when it's the same 10 guys on the floor, there's people that rise above and are able to win. And then there's people that see, you know, the Tom Brady across the field, and they just back off that millimeter, and that's what gives them the advantage. And I mean, I remember when I used to work out with guys that were, you know, similar to my fitness level, right? Like me and Josh would be in the gym all the time working out, and you'd start to kind of like get the edge on the other guy, right? And then you start to like pull away, and it gives you more motivation, and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm fucking. I was 2 reps ahead, and now he's taking a break. All right, now I'm going to get 4 reps ahead, and then you can establish your margin where they're not going to make it up, and then if you're looking across the gym and you see a guy get 2 reps ahead, and then 4 reps ahead, and mentally you could either, you know, run that that 4-minute pace that you need to for 30 seconds, or you're just like, all right, I didn't win this one,
Yeah.
you know? And
I'll take the L.
yeah, exactly. And these fucking monolith of athletes like Tia and Matt, they
Yeah,
have that stature. You know, they've
Yeah.
got that GOAT status where someone is looking across the floor. They don't expect to beat them, you know?
Yeah.
And
Even they might say that they do, but there's no way
yeah,
in the back of your head that you go into one of those competitions and you're like, "Oh, great. Tia's back.
yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
gonna beat you."
yeah,
Yeah, sure you
yeah,
are. Okay. Not that there's
yeah,
like, yeah, you might beat on a workout, but man, it's like they got it locked up, you know?
yeah. But I mean, it could go two different ways too. Like if you've watched, have you been watching UFC this year?
Not really, no. But
Like two
but
two
I've
of the
yeah,
uh,
I know what you're gonna
yeah,
say. Keep going.
yeah, two of the championship fights, right? The Edwards versus Usman, right?
Uh-huh.
And then most recently, Piera, I think is how you say it, versus Adesanya.
Adesanya, yeah.
So both Edwards and Piera were down like 4 rounds to or 3 rounds to one going into the fifth, and their coach gave him this like epic, Rocky speech.
Love it.
Fifth and final round, and that's normally where the championships rounds are won by the reigning champs, and they just come out and they starch these guys and they win the title because they don't accept that they're going to lose it.
Do you get motivated by that kind of shit? Like positive self-talk and or somebody like, "Hey man, you're going to do great," or whatever.
I mean, I don't know.
Man in the arena kind of speeches,
Yeah. I mean, I would say, maybe prior to working out, that could get me like fired up to go work out or something like that. But like, I think like when I compete, and I haven't competed in a while, like, I just kind of get in a zone where I don't really listen to anybody else, and the most successful competitions I've had as an adult are in powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's that quote from X-Men First Class, and when Xavier's talking to Magneto, and then Magneto's trying to like move a satellite or something like that, right? And he's getting all mad that he can't do it, and Xavier's like, he's like, Eric, true focus is somewhere between rage and serenity. And I was like, okay, and that always resonated with me because whether I was going out onto the wrestling mat, or I was going out to deadlift, or I was going out to do a CrossFit WOD or whatever, and I'm in the arena, right?
Right.
I was never mad. I was never
super
relaxed. I was. It was just this very like stoic, monotone type of emotion. I always like kind of rub my hands and like do like the gladiator thing, before you kind of go out there and you got to get the job done. But in powerlifting, especially, you'd see guys get all fired up and they're yelling and screaming and stuff. And I'm like, nothing good has I've ever done in that mindset. Yeah. So I always try to just, relax and kind of like, you almost like can give yourself goosebumps and like getting like a chill before you walk out there,
Yeah.
And then as soon as the whistle blows, all those nerves go and you do what you got to do. Right.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was younger and I played basketball, I was really good playing playground basketball and practice basketball. I'll gladly say that I was the best player on the team probably in my area.
Right.
Practice basketball. First JV basketball game, I'll never forget it. I'm a starter. I get on the court and I get stage fright to like, I can't dribble a basketball. My hands aren't working. Yeah. I look
like Space Jam came and like they sucked out your talent.
For real. Everybody that was on my team, they were like, okay, what the hell's fucking going on with this guy? So they sat me for the second half.
Yeah.
And my coach talked to me. He's like, sometimes it happens. It's almost like, performance anxiety.
Yeah.
It was like early onset performance anxiety. So a couple games went on and I was always listening to music and trying to hype myself.
Uh-huh.
And you know me, I
Yeah.
Me and Mason have gone through some very rough workouts and runs, and I'm a big music guy, and Mason can do the whole no music, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I need some tunes here.
You just listen to your heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my teammates' dads pulls me aside and he goes, "Hey, next time you're going to shoot, before you get on the court, if you get fouled before the free throw line, I want you to shake your hands out." And I started shaking my hands out. I would just like go like this, like at my side, really quick.
Yeah.
And my mind stopped focusing on the crowd and all these factors I couldn't control, and I just was starting to make free throws. And then finally I had like a few decent games, but I could never really overcome it till I stopped. It sounds stupid, but stopped giving a shit, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where most anxiety comes from. Cause at least I think I'm not, disclaimer, I'm not a fucking mental health professional here.
Not an anxiety doctor.
But I think that's where a lot of it comes from. You start getting in your head about,
Right.
oh, what's going to happen? What if I miss a shot? What are you going to think? Blah, blah, blah. And then finally I went to this private school that recruited me for some dumb reason. And went there, and I was playing well. I played really, really good, but it was only until I kind of blacked out. Not really blacked out, but just mindless playing.
Yeah, mindless. That's a good way of putting it.
So are you still? I know you're still training hard. I mean, if you don't follow Mason on IG, that's his IG on the ticker below. You can get that real quick. I'll put that back up, but first I want to put this back up because this is Mason Flynn's probably one of his best pieces of advice. If you take it, sometimes you get in the gym, especially you people like me that have fucking gym in their garage, and it seems to be harder to work out in your gym garage than when you drive to LA Fitness or whatever. And you're looking around like, what the hell am I going to do today? Especially when I wasn't following a program. It's like, well, I guess I'll just do 100 or something. That's a good start. And
absolutely.
So you got the running thing going on in Pensacola. I know, like you're running with the dogs a lot.
Yeah. So, I started running with the dogs out in San Diego, and that has kind of limited my long distance runs. Now that it's wintertime, I can run them longer. Pushing maybe
what's
8
longer?
miles, something like that.
8.
I would say 8 miles. Typical runs I do are like 3 and 4 miles, right? But since I started on the last deployment I had, I was like, all right, I want to try to back squat 600 and run a 6-minute mile in the same day, right? So kind of like Adam Klink, he did I think that's how you say his name. He did the 500-pound squat with a 5-minute mile, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I ain't gonna run a 5-minute mile, so I'm gonna work towards that, and that kind of got me running at faster paces for shorter durations. So I've been doing more training like that, which is a lot of fun, and it's good for the job because we have to we're running 3 to 5 miles at a fast minute pace. So I don't know, no competitions on the horizon. I did look into doing some powerlifting or some road races or something like that, but right now it's just kind of just working out for fun.
Do you miss the competitions and competitiveness, or you're kind of like, I'm good at competing with myself and it's all good?
I mean, I do. The great thing about CrossFit is you can, and I say CrossFit, but functional fitness type training or whatever is like
multifaceted fitness.
Yeah, but one of the things that I got out of that was being able to challenge myself on a daily basis. When a lot of the programming I learned from Josh, and we would almost write it like you throw what workouts you want to do, what exercises you want to do on the board, right? So right here on the board, I've got, I wanted to do ski erg, and this was a couple days ago. Ski erg, I put ski erg, sandbag, GHD, and squats. And I didn't even end up doing sandbags. I ended up just doing dumbbell thrusters. And I kind of got this from Josh. So it's like, okay, 4 rounds, 25 cow ski, 25 dumbbell thrusters, 25 GHD, and 25 burpees, right? And then you basically, you mess with the numbers until you're like, oh man, that would suck. That's gonna hurt. And then like when you finally land on, oh man, that looks fucking nasty. Then that's the one you do. And then in your head, you're thinking, okay, how much time should this take? You know, and you want it to be a challenging amount of time. So that 4 rounds, I think he had actually wrote something very similar to it, and he wrote 22-minute, try to get under 22 minutes. And I was like, okay, you know, full send. And I didn't really even think about how many reps that was, but I did think about how long a round should take, right? So 22 minutes for 4 rounds, I was like, I get done the first round and it was like 5:26 or 5:28. And you had to do under 5:30 rounds to get under 22 minutes. So I was like, oh, so this is going to hurt, you know?
Move my ass here. Yep.
Yeah. But I did end up getting it. It hurt, but that kind of gives you that challenge of competition every time you work out, which is, you know, I think I probably just get it from that.
And
but,
are you still going into like the danger zone? Like, you know, the just straight grunt, stupid workouts, you know, 100 wall walks for time on a sandy beach.
Oh yeah. Every now right. Every now and then, I came off of, so I've been like, had a few health issues lately. I got bit by a brown recluse a couple months ago, and that just like put me on my ass.
Oh, really? I thought I thought the brown recluse would have just bit you and been like, damn, bro, I got to bounce. This guy's going to beat my ass.
No. Oh yeah. It probably is really jacked and it's sitting somewhere.
He's venom. It turned into venom.
It turned into venom, right? I woke up. Yeah, I woke up at midnight, like freezing my ass off. And, you know, long story short, I was on antibiotics for 2 weeks. Went to the hospital. Yeah, I went to the hospital. IV, antibiotic IV, couple of different like penicillin shots in the ass.
That must have felt great.
And then I started to feel better. And then I went to a wedding, Steve's wedding up north. And then on the way back, I don't know if it has to do with it, but I got this awful GI infection, and that lasts for like a week or so.
Man.
So I was out of commission. I got down to like 202. Normally I'm 216, 215.
Yeah.
But like the day I got back and I was like feeling better, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do. I had that 150-pound sandbag. And I just like, I picked it to the shoulder and I pressed it over my head. And I'm like, I'm just going to do this 100 times.
Oh, man.
You know, and it took like half an hour. Yeah. It was Grace with 100 rep Grace.
Sandbag Grace times a lot.
Yeah. And that took longer than it would have if I was fresh, but it was one of those dick drags, you know. We're actually doing a run on the 10th we're going to donate to the Wingman Foundation here. We'll get into what that is. From Fort Pickens, we're going to do a 10-mile beach run, and then we're going to run another 9 miles across a couple bridges to this memorial park, and all the profits will go to the Wingman Foundation. That'll be nasty.
What is the Wingman Foundation for people that don't know?
Yeah, the Wingman Foundation is a nonprofit that helps out any Navy or Marine Corps families that have had a loved one die in a helicopter or an aircraft mishap. Okay, so any type of fixed wing or helicopter, anything that flies in the Navy and Marine Corps, if there is a mishap and a loss of life, then the foundation helps out with that. And the way they help out is they will fly families across country or put them up in hotels, help out with any type of arrangements that the families need after the mishap happens.
Do they take donations?
They do take donations. I'll give you some more info on what we're doing with the run and how.
I'll put the links in the description too, bro. So they can, people can, I think those kind of, organizations are, obviously it hits home close for me and you,
right.
For a friend that we've lost. And yeah, it's crazy. It's a risky job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even though I wish I still did it, it's amazing that there's companies out there of people that got a few bucks and they're like, well, what the hell are these parents going to do that, they just lost their son or daughter, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people don't got hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for funerals and plane tickets. What do you want them to do? Walk all the way to the
Right.
place,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll put that link in the description, and anyone listening or watching, please give it a click and at least learn about it. I mean, you never know how far away you are from somebody that's serving their country, and they might be your next door neighbor, man. They might not be there one day.
Yeah.
So that's badass, and that run sounds absolutely atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like the
little, backstory for people that are listening. Me and Paul are both helicopter air crewmen in the Navy, so that's where the whole naval aviator thing comes. But we can get into that another time.
yeah, Mason's a chief right now, which for anyone that doesn't know, that's an E7, enlisted 7. Am I still right, or am I bad on my Navy stuff?
That's good enough.
Nice, I'm killing it. And yeah, he's been. How long you been in the Navy?
What is it? 2030? 17 years now.
Damn.
Yeah. In April, it'll be 17. Yeah. Yeah.
And I met Mason at when I basically first got in the Navy, because I was only at one place for my whole career. I was there for a while.
It was 10 years, right?
Yeah, 10 years. And yeah, we hit it off pretty quick. That's why I wanted to have him on this podcast once I finally was out and started this up. We just have a lot of things in common, and we've burned it down quite a few times. That's why I wanted to bring that up, because I still try to do that. Is really one of those just full destructive mode workouts.
I gotta send you our 12 days workout we did.
Oh yeah, please do.
You'd like it a lot.
I'll put that in the description as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I think everyone should do it. And some people look at me like when I'm doing something like that and I'm in like a zone and it's really not going good for me. But I get done and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I might not have made my bed this morning, but I did that.
Yeah.
And that shit fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I definitely go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would say every couple months, probably maybe 3 months, I would program something that's just like, man,
good luck.
This is this will be like an hour of just straight pain, but it's good for you. It's good to take yourself to that place, I still like doing a lot of those hundreds workouts that you're like, this is just one of these reps hurts. So
100's going to be real bad.
Let's do it 100 times, You
hear that, everybody? 100, always 100. Just don't do that every day, because you'll end up like me with broken shoulders and knees, and amongst other things.
Made out of metal.
Metal and glass, baby. Metal and glass. I'm a fucking window frame, for Christ's sakes. I'm a window. Yeah. So I guess this is a good time to transition into what movies are you watching?
I just did Black Adam.
Yeah, let's hear the review. Mason, by the way, before he starts talking, is the strongest nerd I've ever met. He's got some unmatched knowledge in superheroes and Star Wars, Star Trek. We don't really mess with that. No offense,
man,
Trekkies. Yeah, that's about all I know, and I like the J.J. Abrams films and some of the old ones. Yeah. What did you think? I liked it.
I did. It was. I guess it was a little worse than I thought it would be. I guess that's a bad way of saying it. Here's the thing, and I've talked at length with some other friends of mine about it. I don't understand why they constantly have to put like some 12-year-old, protagonist in it to liven up the movie or whatever. It's like that 12-year-old that was in the movie. The movie is advertised as this like gritty, like Punisher-esque, like anti-hero. He's basically a villain, but The Rock is too big to be a complete villain. And so they needed to like church him up a little bit so they could make the most money off of this character, which I get and I'm okay with. But you don't have to add in like a 12-year-old's pointless storyline into that movie. It was just like, okay, get back to Black Adam, you know?
Yeah.
I really liked how they just like shotgun introduced Justice Society.
Yeah, that was cool.
And they don't even talk about their origin, you know, because if you're going into a comic book movie, you don't need to know that. You're like, oh, this guy, he's a magic wizard he's Doctor Strange with a helmet. Okay, this guy, he's Hawk,
it's big.
He's Falcon with a helmet, and that's Ant-Man, and that girl's a tornado. Okay, check, cool. Move on, right? Like, I don't need to know how this girl got her whirlwind powers. So it's like,
maybe next movie.
And so I really liked how they did that, because I feel like a lot of superhero movies waste so much time on like this whole introduction of a character that I don't really care about anyway. It seemed like it added to the continuity of the DC universe that Snyder is like trying to put back together.
Yeah.
But they still seem to like don't know where they're headed, because then, you know, who knows, they're going to release Aquaman 2.
Yep.
And that can be just as bad as Wonder Woman 2. It was a pointless movie. It was a one-off that added nothing to the continuity of the greater DC universe at large. That's what they're doing with Phase 5 Marvel anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we going with this, people?
It seems like, I mean, I'm guessing because Disney fired and rehired Bob Iger the other day. I'm guessing they were like, oh, okay, this is not going the way we want it to go, so you need to get us back to Infinity Gauntlet levels.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be tough, man.
Yeah, it Eric D. July, the dude that wrote ISOM, and he has that Rippaverse and all this stuff. Amazing comics badass. But he was talking the other day just about people were giving him shit about not having a origin story for ISOM in the first comic, and he's like, "Why do I need to do that? Why do I need to? Why do I want to send all my cards out now and then then down the road you guys don't want to read my comic anymore because I got nothing else to show you?" And I feel like Marvel did that with Infinity Gauntlet. They were like, fuck, we should have saved that story for
I see. You mean like that particular story. Yeah, but they also did that story, you know, 10 years, 12 years into the MCU.
Right. Yeah, they definitely, you know, I mean, they took their time.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to repeat that, right? No. Because it's like cinema finally caught up enough with illustrators where you could make a live action comic book look good on the big screen. Right. And then one company, Disney, so a big enough company, got control of enough of the characters, and with the, I don't know, 50, 60 years of character development that they put into it.
Yep.
And they're like, let's finally put all this together and bring it to the big screen. And I don't know how early in the MCU they laid out their plans all the way for Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
But, you know, they come out with Iron Man. They come out with Hulk, with Edward Norton one, right? They come out with Thor, and then Captain America, all like kind of all the Phase 1 stuff.
Yeah.
And then they come out with the Avengers, and they put them all together, right? Yeah. And that is like, that alone was completely unprecedented,
right?
In I guess in movies, in comic book cinema.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And all these nerds that say fans of the comics are like, wow, this is awesome. They actually were able to pull this off.
Yeah.
And then they go and they're just adding a little bit more to it, right? Up to Age of Ultron.
Yeah. They kept trickling little Thanos stuff in there for you.
Right. And it was almost like, you know, it's like if they had the first like 3 Star Wars movies, but were in between them, they could have given you these like small episodes that just added to it, right? And then finally it all culminated with Infinity Saga, right?
Yeah.
But
Next
you're not going to
level.
you're not going to get bigger than that.
No.
You know, because it was like the first time in cinema history they were able to bring that all together, and then they show you all of it, right? And you're like, oh, wow, that was amazing. But you're not going to be able to experience like your first Christmas all over again.
Right. You can't do the Matrix over again. You know,
No, you can't.
You can't show me the sick ass camera angle thing that they do, you know, in the Matrix, and you can't be like, all right, let's do it again. And you're like, it's cool, but okay, next.
Yeah.
Probably our fault too, because not me and you, but people in general, the amount of consumption that we need, you know, now.
Oh yeah.
You know, just because of the attention spans are ridiculous now, and you know, even sometimes I'm in a movie, bro, in the movie theater, and I want to like fast forward. I'm like, let's
Black Adam.
Yeah, there was parts where I'm like, give me let's go to Black Adam, like, because this is stupid right now.
Why are there zombies at the end of this?
Pierce Brosnan was awesome as Dr. Fate. He fucking crushed it.
He did. Yeah.
And that's a character no one really knows about. But they did a badass job with him. And it seemed like that movie, they just didn't know how to fucking finish it either. They brought that, you know, devil dude, you know, and they were like, all right, well, we'll get this guy in here, kill him. We need something to join this group together here under one, you know, cause.
Yeah. And you knew it was coming the whole time.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
It was like, I don't know, it's a tough character to introduce like that, you know, and still make it so he's the good guy at the end. We're going to want to make some more money off this guy. So don't just make him kill everybody.
And speaking of The Rock, for anybody that doesn't know this bit of info on Black Adam, I almost said Black Panther. He is just wearing a suit. He's not wearing a He's not wearing a body suit.
But what's his name? Shazam looked like an idiot in that last one.
Yeah, he looks super weird because he's not.
He looked like an idiot.
He looked like what The Rock normally looks like.
Yeah, but it was like this Jack dude, and then like this little pencil neck coming out of like.
It's right here, man.
I was gonna say he basically took your body and your head and your face and put a red suit on it and half a cape.
You guys heard it here first. All right, DC, you need to reach out if Shazam ever gets hurt. You know, I could be a good stand-in.
Step right in, man.
I got that pencil neck that you can just teak.
Yeah, you act like a 12-year-old sometimes. You know.
Yes, every day.
Yeah.
Right now I am. Yeah, it's too bad. I keep trying to get into it. I mean, Spider-Man was awesome, but
dude, the Spider-Verse or no? What was it called?
No Way Home.
No Way Home. I thought that was great.
Crazy.
Great.
It was badass. You know, Venom would have been the only thing that they could have thrown in there, and I would have been like, wow, that's nice.
And they didn't even need to. But that was a picture perfect example of a studio taking its own creative liberties and putting it onto a well-known character to deliver the same exact message that was first intended. You know, exactly. the whole Uncle Ben thing is like such an important part of that character, and they didn't do it, but then they did the Aunt May thing, and you're like, oh wow, that's
never would have thought of it.
And then they fixed Sony.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, she was actually your Uncle Ben, you know? And like it's like they actually made, was it Spider-Man 2? The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes, with
better. They're like they like explained it, you know? They're like, no, this is why it was good.
Right. Yeah, that movie is one of the better Marvel movies to come out in a minute. I've had hard times like getting
top five.
Like top Thor, five. The last Thor sucked.
Awful.
The last Doctor Strange sucked. You know, Doctor Strange was better than Thor for Christ's sakes, but you know, Thor really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, dude, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I'm all for comedy in the movies, but sometimes they gotta. Thor's like kind of serious. He's not fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, man. You know.
No, and how do you bring in Christian Bale to
have him looking like 95-year-old man?
Yeah, it's like you already did your, 80s, 90s retro thing with Ragnarok,
Yeah.
but it worked and you killed it. And now you're just like trying to make it even more so, and it was just
Parody.
dumb.
A
It
lot
was
of parody.
campy. It
Yeah.
was campy, man. It makes and then all the Asgardians just like sitting in Norway, and it's like a new Disney World.
Yeah.
Like, aren't these people like? Wouldn't they be the next SpaceX?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure. Why are
yeah,
they just floating around
yeah, yeah.
looking at bullshit?
Yeah, how have they not like rivaled Wakanda within like 6 months of being there? Everyone is like 15,000 years old. They know all the secrets to the universe,
Yeah, they
and
could travel to space.
they can
For
travel
Christ's
through
sakes.
the galaxies,
Yeah.
and they're just like some podunk ass farmers. No offense to farmers,
Yeah.
that have this like cheesy Disney town.
I don't know, man.
It reminded me of walking through Universal Studios. Like the Simpsons Village,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It,
This is
it
so
it
dumb.
I think it's just too much power to and I love his shit, and he's a funny dude, Taika Waititi. I think they were just like, all right, we're gonna give you more money and do it again. Do it
Yeah, do it
again.
again. Do it again.
And they
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
and he just said, sure, I'll take the money and just,
Yeah.
I'll do some more funny things as what's the little guy he plays, the big rock
Korg.
guy? Korg,
Korg, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's funny as shit, but other than that, man, they really fucked away that movie.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're gonna try to fix that all now, but we'll see.
Well, Hemsworth said he's done acting because of he's got like Alzheimer's or something.
Whoa. He
Yeah.
said that on the Limitless thing. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, so apparently he is like on like the last episode. I didn't watch it yet either. He found out he has a gene that makes
Spoiler
him
alert.
like, yeah, that makes him like 8 to 10 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's.
So why would you stop acting? I don't get
Because
it.
because he's a gazillionaire and he wants to like focus on his health.
I guess that's true. That's
I mean, look
fucking
at
nuts.
Gina Davis. She did the same thing.
She did?
I don't know. She doesn't act anymore.
I was like, yeah, I don't think she's acting anymore.
Yeah, she got out when she was on top. I mean,
Yeah, League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Great
Not
film.
to be confused. Don't confuse that with The Replacements. I did that the other day.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I can see why you would do that.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the coffee like a psycho or what?
Yeah, I spend a lot of money on coffee. You got to see you saw the thing I had.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah,
So Mason makes coffee like Da Vinci paints a fucking picture. He's
Was he a
weighing
painter? Isn't that Michelangelo?
He painted some stuff, man. Michelangelo, whatever. They're all artists.
They're all turtles.
Give me a tuba. And
yeah,
Mason weighs the beans and
I don't weigh the beans.
Yeah,
you can't get that crazy. I don't weigh the beans. I just do the scoops, but
he's
spend a lot of money on it. But now I do. I come home for lunch every day, so I make a pot in the afternoon, and normally I bring it back down to work and share it. So
coffee nerds, man. And what beans are you using?
Well, I get Josh's Good Dudes coffee for the most part, and I get the
shameless plug to Good Dudes Coffee.
Yeah, right. So my favorite is probably either the Patton or the Roosevelt. I get both those.
Nice.
And then, but I always run out. So there's a few coffee spots around here.
Starbucks?
Nope, not that. Not that.
Mason's a big fan of Starbucks.
Yeah, of warm geriatric diarrhea. But I go. It's called Bodacious. It's downtown Pensacola, so I'll get some bags of there, and
Oh, I think I got cold brew when I was there. That place is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm still doing Starbucks once in a while, and
yuck.
This Boomtown stuff is pretty fucking money. It's like espresso, cold brew, and they put a cold brew ice
You got some milk or something in there too, I see.
Yeah, some sort of
Bailey's
high fat milk.
You know what I actually had last Christmas? I did Bailey's and not Bailey's. It's a butterscotch whiskey. You know what
Sounds
I'm
good.
talking about? It's got the goat
Schnapps?
head on. No, screwball. Screwball?
Oh yeah, screwball.
Yeah, that and some coffee.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not
So are
bad.
you still, I mean, I know you drink. I mean, I drink.
Yeah.
Almost everybody drinks ish. Although it seems like it's becoming less and less. I feel like there is a shift.
Dude, it's I mean, it's, you know, I would say like if I'm having some scotch or whiskey, typically I've gotten into scotch. If I do that 2 nights, like Friday, Saturday, for a couple weeks in a row, then that's drinking heavy for me, and that's too much. You know, I would say in a perfect world, if I could, if I could manage my drinking, you know,
Right.
then I would say that I would want to have like maybe 1 to 2 nights a month where I had like, you
4 or 5
know,
drinks
yeah, I mean, if that, you know,
in
just like
in a perfect world.
watching a movie at home. But it's drinking's one of those things, man, where if it's just like anything, you can make the excuse. Oh, I had a wedding. Oh, I had a Christmas party. Oh, I had this. That, and then before you know it, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, no,
But
that's why I brought it up because I've I usually take the month. I usually pick a month where it's like nothing at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
And I remember you remember when I was back at work with you, we used to do that. And you always would say, well, why don't you just stop in general for a while and then
yeah,
just start it up again? And I'm like,
yeah,
no, but that was me like justifying it, and I still find
yeah,
myself at times justifying it. I'll be like, oh, I had
yeah,
a long
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
Last
have
night
this.
I was thinking of having one. Yeah,
Or like
yeah,
Thanksgiving rolls around, and now I like to live. I'm going to eat my ass off on Thanksgiving,
yeah,
but
yep, yeah.
or the holidays in general. This is like the time though for people that really
Oh
start to
yeah,
like let it just fucking
yep,
go, out of
yep.
proportion. Excuse me. And it's that justification thing, man, is just like you justifying, not you, but people in general justifying like, yeah, I'm not going to work out.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not going to work out
absolutely.
today
Absolutely.
because
I was
I
about to
worked,
say that. Yeah. Yeah. I
you
think
know.
though, back when we worked together, I was also like still kind of competing.
Yeah.
So, I'm like going full send.
Yeah,
Like,
you can turn it off really well.
yeah, like I'm not going to be doing that. But when I don't have like a solid goal that I'm going for, and not just me, I think a lot of people would like that. It is a
Mhm.
lot easier to be like, oh, well, you only live once, it's,
Sure.
yeah, it's a full moon.
Yeah, you start thinking of all these fucking reasons.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but if you do have a goal, that's the big thing. I think if you do put a goal out there, like mine's to
yeah,
make it to the CrossFit Games as a master. Okay, let's just say for example, and
yeah.
it's like, well, I can't be drinking all the fucking time
No,
because your
no,
competitors are not doing that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
at least give yourself that justification to not do it. But it's so much
yeah.
easier to do the justification to do it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and I deal with a lot of people in my business on my side of the table of cards and stuff. And addiction's a thing. I mean, addiction's a thing in all forms of businesses.
Hmm.
But in mine, it can become with gambling. And you'd be surprised, man, if I took you to a card show. And I'm not trying to down anybody in the card world, but there is a lot of out of shape people because they're just sitting there and they're eating and they're just hanging out and they got life and family and all the things. And I'm always like, man, don't you want to enjoy these cards? That
Yeah,
you put so much time into these, just you got to put a little effort on the other side, you know? And that's easy for someone like me that enjoys working out. But if you don't fucking like working out, it's easier to give yourself the justification and excuse to go drink, you know?
yeah,
And be like, ah,
yeah.
fuck it, I'm gonna
Why
drink,
not?
you
Why
know.
not? Yeah,
And it's hard
yeah,
when you're, especially our background. You go out with a group of guys that love and have a great time with, and everybody's having a good time. It's fucking weird to not be the guy that's
yeah.
not drinking.
It is,
Um,
and it's. I mean, like,
and there's no
you
pressure. No one's pressuring you.
no,
You know,
no, but
it's
it's
like
not
your
as fun.
mental.
Yeah,
No,
there's a
it's your
reason. Yeah,
you
there's a
put your
reason
own
people do it.
pressures. You know,
Yeah,
you're not even
it's
trying to pick up chicks or what do they say? liquid courage yourself. You're like literally at
Right.
someone's house with all
Yeah.
dudes, and you're like, all right, yeah, you guys are drinking? Okay, fuck it. I'm just going to drink. Even though you went there.
Yeah, but people are also annoying as fuck if they're drinking. And like
And you're not.
you were a bouncer at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
Like,
time.
yeah, it's like everyone else is a child,
Yeah.
and that's why and anyone who you're working with, it's like we're the adults in the room, right? And you're looking around, and everyone's drinking. They're oblivious what's happening, and they're annoying as shit.
Yep.
It's of course you're gonna want to drink if you're with people that are drinking. That's why I mean, so many times, on deployment or something like that, it's like I'd rather just not go out. If you guys are drinking, and for me, I'm like, I'm still at the point where if I'm drinking, I want it to be for a legitimate reason that for me to enjoy it.
Right.
Right. And those are probably becoming less and less, or like the reasons for me to drink are becoming easier because I'm not so dogmatic about my training.
Right.
Right. But if I'm on a deployment and you're going out and like drinking every weekend or whatever, it's like,
yeah, I remember I talked to you a few times.
yeah.
I was like, hey, did you go out? And you're like, nah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are you boozing at all? And you're like, no. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing.
It's just not worth it.
Because I would go and I'd be like, yeah, well, it's the weekend. I'm going to drink, and
it makes such a difference though if you didn't.
Oh, for sure. And it's funny when I take some time off, if I'm going like kind of on the Mason rule, 2 drinks a month or 2 times where I'm going to drink. And man, the weeks I feel so much better, and it's so silly when you do burn it down again and you're like, God damn it. What was I thinking?
I think a lot of it, like lately for me, so before Thanksgiving, I went for a while. Well, being sick, obviously I'm not going to do it. Right. And then I got this damn watch that shows my heart rate. Right.
Is that the Garmin?
And yeah. And so if I have like 2 glasses of whiskey, my resting heart rate will go up almost 10 beats a minute when I'm drinking. Like,
whoa,
when I'm asleep, it goes from like, maybe not 10. It would go from like 45 to like 52.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so like I get up and I'm like, man, was that worth it?
Yeah.
And then I would start to get to the point where it's like, especially if I were to have a glass of whiskey during the week, I couldn't enjoy it because I would have anxiety about how I shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Because I know that it's like, and so it's like, what's the point? I might as well just like not even do it.
Yeah, I had guys that I would hang out with before the Navy, and some of them wouldn't drink at all because they were like, I'm not just going to have one drink. Like I'm either going to drink to get drunk or I'm not going to drink at all. So I don't feel like getting drunk, so I'm not going to drink. And I'm like, well, I guess that's kind of a good process to look at it because
until you just binge drink all the time.
Yeah, and that's a huge that's I guess the slippery slope, right? Back to the whole addictive kind of giving yourself justification. It's so hard to rewire your brain after you've done it. Like I think last week, I probably had that's Mason's puppies. Used to have, I think I had some wine or a beer 4 out of the 5 nights or 4 out of the 7 nights,
Right.
And it was just out of like justification. I'm like, oh, I love to drink wine when I'm cooking dinner,
Yeah.
But
understandably,
I don't need to.
Yeah. Understandably.
It's like, and sometimes I look at it and I go, why the fuck did I do that?
You know what I found helped a lot with that is, it was almost like when I used to chew. Like I would be like, same thing. I'd be cooking dinner or making it. I'd be like, man, I wouldn't mind a drink right now. And then I'd be like, just wait till after you eat. And then I would eat a whole bunch and be like pretty full. And I'd be like, I'd go without it, or I'll have it tomorrow night, And then before you know it, it's Friday, and maybe I would have it, or maybe not. But I definitely found that if I would just simply be like, wait till after dinner, then the likeliness of me having one to drastically go down.
Well, that's a good little tip. It's such a crazy thing. I don't want to put his I guess his story out there before I get him on here, but I have a close family, my brother basically, that deals with alcohol abuse, and it's a crazy thing. I don't think people get it how slippery that slope can be.
Oh, dude, it is crazy that they're not more alcoholics. Like,
it really
that's how I
is.
look at it, because it's so easy to go from like, all right, I'm just gonna, and we're at the age now where like we're not going out like partying
Right.
to pick up chicks and to binge drink, right? Like it was almost easier to not drink at during the week
Yeah.
at that age than it is at this age, because at this age you're having it as this kind of like casual, relaxed nightcap type of thing, right? And so
no rules, you're
no
you're
rules,
an adult.
right?
You're like,
Yeah. You have it on. Have a couple drinks on Friday. Have a couple drinks Saturday night. Well, football, especially this time of year,
Sunday
right?
day drink. Let's do it.
And then all of a sudden it's a Tuesday night and you had like 3 glasses of whiskey, which isn't like an absurd amount to drink, or even 2 glasses, right?
Right.
But then you do it on Wednesday, and then I could see how it could easily trickle into every single night.
Yeah.
And then all you're gonna do is pour a little bit more each time.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're a functioning alcoholic.
Right.
And then you're just an alcoholic, and it's just and it's a fucking legal drug you can buy anywhere.
That's right. And it's pushed on, and it's pushed on you. It's
pushed on you,
They're like every movie
insane.
Someone's drinking, every commercial, well, not every commercial, but you know what I'm saying? Like
all of American society is so centered around it.
Yeah.
Like it's really amazing that there are not more people that are just in the bottom of a fucking bottle every night. And I'm sure there's a lot, but still. Yeah.
And talk about once you're in it, and a very difficult feat to overcome,
Yeah.
And it's fucking nuts. And if that doesn't turn you off, like everybody says, it's funny, like you go to a dietitian, like, and you tell them, hey, can you fix my diet? I'm trying to do whatever. And they're like, yeah, okay, do me a favor.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, I want you to write down every single thing you eat.
Yeah.
And usually if you're decent, you can get most of the shit you ate and you'll give it to them. But it's funny though, like I even catch myself doing it sometimes. I'll be like, I left that beer off of my MyFitnessPal, or it is,
Yeah.
and I can't be the only fucking one. Like I'm sure that if I mark down every, like on a calendar, an X mark every time I had a drink, an alcoholic beverage, I would probably be like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
And it probably isn't even that much, because I'm kind of like if I'm at home, it's like, oh, I'll have a couple glasses of wine, or I'll have a couple beers. The weekends is when I give myself the full justification. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Because my daughter's asleep. Okay, sure. Or it's dinner time. Okay, I'll have a bourbon, or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, there's times where you're just like, shit, man, it's not doing me any favors.
Like it's insane that it's legal,
especially because you can consume endless. Like there's not
until
like
you die.
Until you drink yourself to death.
Until you're dead or kill somebody else. I don't know how marijuana has stayed illegal for so long when alcohol has been killing thousands of Americans for the past, what is it, 275 years we've been a country or whatever.
Bro, I preach it like no other here. I mean, I'm in Houston, Texas, if anyone doesn't know, and weed ain't legal here. But I'm a huge proponent at, CBD, THC, all of it. I mean, I'd rather do that than drink.
Bro, I know veterans that drank more than they should have in the military and got out and started smoking pot and do not drink anymore. And they are not reckless stoners either.
Right.
They are like, I'm going to have a little bit of this marijuana vape pen before I go to bed. And that's it. Yep. And it's been, and I'm not saying that marijuana is amazing, but
Right.
I feel like that alternative to having a fifth of whiskey or whatever,
Or even a
every
couple,
night,
even, a couple every
even
night,
even a couple, like to give yourself some sound sleep
why
is
not?
crazy.
Why not? They have this new
Crazy.
shit here in Houston that's called Delta 9, and it's like a derivative of THC. It's kind of their
Yeah,
workaround.
I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
They have a sleepy version, that's supposed to put you to bed, but it's not the same thing. It never is.
Yeah.
And me with my osteoporosis, heavy, the more help I can get, the better.
Yeah, he doesn't like to sleep.
No, sleep is good. But I am gonna let you go, and I hope you come back on again.
Yeah,
Because
man.
we
Anytime.
got so many more things to talk about. I'm sure
We do.
you'll be the guy that I get into my naval history with.
Oh yeah.
Next time.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
Maybe next month I have you back on.
We'll do the origin of polybod.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't even get to the Polybot app.
No, we did not.
Mason's been on the Polybot program for. You want to know how he deadlifts 765 pounds, motherfucker?
Yeah.
It's Polybot. It's
Yeah.
search it in the app store. It's Polybot. If you find something, please send me a screenshot. Because it's copyright infringement. Because that's our idea. We're gonna make millions off of Polybot.
Right.
But man, yeah, it was great to talk to you. Great to see you.
Absolutely.
As always, you always have great stuff to say. I'm not kidding. You're one of the strongest people I know. Highly dedicated to your job and to fucking crushing the weights. That's for sure. And people think that's like a meathead thing. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of meatheady, but just give it a try for a month, man. See if you can hang,
Change your life.
See if you can hang.
I was just a real one other thing. I heard, I'm working out with the students the other day, and one of the guys asked me at work, he's like, how hard would you say you work out with, these students compared to, how hard you train with, when you're competitive and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, it's different,
Harder.
it's not, well, it's different because it's a different goal, right? But a lot of it is just, holding, you're in a push-up position for, 5 minutes and you're just in pain, right? And all you think about is pain. And I was listening to Cameron Haynes the other day, and he goes, I don't know if he made this up or not, but this is where I heard it. And he's like, if you can become friends with pain, then you'll never be alone. It's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that needs to go on a t-shirt or a poster or something for the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, become friends with pain. That's what I should title this episode. But yeah, man, thanks again. Anything you want to drop? Your IG is MASNFLYNN.
Yep. No, I think it's just one N.
One N. There you go. It's
N,
on the ticker on the bottom.
Yeah, I'll get you more info about the Wingman and that run. That's kind of like one of the reasons we picked to do a run like that. That is just like a total suck fest. Become friends with pain type of thing. Like the way you look at it is these family they got to go through pain the rest of their life because they lost their loved ones. So the least we can do is go through some pain one morning and try to help them out and get them some monetary compensation, really, that will and that's not directly to them, but that goes to the Wingman to help these people out. So yeah,
for sure. I love it. Yeah, I'll make sure I get the link from you, and it'll be in just scroll down below. Link will be in the description. Like always, thanks everyone for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. So yeah, give me a follow if you can. All right. Thanks again, Mason.
Tasty brains.
Tasty brains. Peace.
Peace.